welcome back to the Red Bull Ring. Welcome to race 2 of the weekend, the penultimate round of the ADAC GT4 Germany Championship. Weather conditions a whole lot better than they were yesterday. The sun has been shining. There's a real nip in the air though, 12.8 degrees centigrade. And track temperature 23.2 means that we're going to see 2 formation laps for the start of this race today. If you've been waiting on for this ADAC GT4 Germany race, apologies, we're a little bit later on air than originally scheduled. A very large accident in the ADAC GT Masters meant delays to repair fences and such. Pleased to say everybody's all okay, but it was a very large accident. But here in the ADAC GT4 Germany in the evening sunshine, we're getting ready to go, and on pole position is yesterday's winner. The only difference is from yesterday is because they won yesterday, they've got a 15-kilo success ballast on board. That, of course, is Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp. They are second in the championship. The championship, which is very much alive and kicking, because Mika Australia and Gabriel Piana lead the way by 26 points ahead of Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp. Yesterday's win, meaning they've closed in on Mika Australia and Gabriel Piana. They got a 4th place yesterday. It was a good points haul, but it wasn't. It has allowed Zulauf and Knopp to close in. Even Eccleshik and Ferdinand Winter are the only other drivers who are in contention for the championship, although it is a bit of a stretch. They're 72 points behind with 75 points on the table. Yesterday, we saw Jan Marszałkowski start on pole position, but yet another brake failure on the Aston Martin. The team are very, very frustrated. It meant that he had to retire from the lead of the race. He did a great job at bringing that car under control into turn 1, despite having almost no brakes at all. You saw a quick flash on your screen then of Leighton Fury. He starts on the front row in P2, looking to make up for a non-finish yesterday with he and Max Rosam. Yesterday, in second place, we saw Simon Birch and Denny Berndt taking their second place of the season in ADAC GT4 Germany. We saw car 18, Mark Di Fulgenzio and Enzo Juliet, the BWT Mucker Motorsport Mercedes, come home in 3rd place. But after the race, the stewards and the scrutineers looked at the Mercedes and discovered it was 5 kilograms underweight. So car number 18 has been disqualified from the result of yesterday. It means that Max Kronberg and Henrik Still move up a position. They've inherited that 3rd place, but a bit of a disaster for BWT Mucker Motorsport. They'll be looking to make up for it as much as they can today. They're starting in 10th place. So a bit of work to do from there, but I'm sure the car will be exactly the right weight now. Yesterday's pole sitter was Jan Marszałkowski. His co-driver, Philip Gogelok, didn't get to drive the car because the brake failure occurred before the pit window had opened, but we saw how frustrated Philip Gogelok was by the pictures on our TV screens. He's already wanted to make up for the Nürburgring last time out where he got spun out. He's on the inside 2nd row for this race, so he is very eager to get in front of Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf. Finn Zulauf will be starting the first stint in that car directly ahead of them, and he will be aware that Finn Zulauf has a championship to think of. The championship being led by Mika Australia, Gabriel Piana, and Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp will not want to finish this race in a gravel trap because it would be absolutely disastrous as far as their championship hopes go. So, 3rd on the grid, Philip Gogelok, and they're going to hope that the brakes have been sorted on that car. There's someone who was very, very impressive yesterday. Jan Matthias only started in ADAC GT4 Germany last time we met, and that was at the Nürburgring Nürburgring in August. It was a fairly steep baptism of fire, rain, water, and all the rest of it in the Razzoon More Than Racing BMW. But he, along with Damon Sazician, yesterday came home in 10th place, getting a 3rd place in the trophy category as well. A really, really good job. Right, start of formation lap, 16:43 local. So pleased to say, looks like we've got the fence together. There is the number 10 car. That is the car with Denny Burnt at the wheel. He's sharing that with Simon Birch. They're down on P12 for this race, so they've got a bit of work to do from there, but they can do it. A mention to the car starting on the outside 2nd row. The Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche Cayman that has been driven by Senna Summerbell and also Tommy Gore. It's Thomas who is at the wheel of the car for the first stint in this race. They changed to the Porsche. The Jamaican duo switched from Audi to Porsche. They started the season on the Sape Motorsport Audi. They're now in the Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche, and they have really taken to it. They've been looking so impressive. The results have not really reflected their pace. They have been very rapid, but have had a fair bit of bad luck as well. But this is a really good opportunity to really show what they can do. And Tommy Gore at the wheel of the number 32 car will be starting from the outside 2nd row. There's a local driver, Philip Dietrich. He also had a fairly traumatic day yesterday for Wimmerwerk Motorsport. They had showing some really good pace, but getting into some traumas during the race and spun just before the very last corner of the race. He and David Lackner for Wimmerwerk Motorsport, both Austrians in the Austrian team, so we know what flag they're going to be flying today. Daniel Drexel, another of the local drivers. He is in the Razzoon More Than Racing Porsche 718 Cayman. Razzoon More Than Racing, quite unusually for a team, bringing 2 brands of car. They've got the BMW and they've got a couple of Caymans as well on the grid. There's Jarni van der Kratz. He, along with Mo Ritson yesterday, were very, very quick indeed, coming through the pack, and they're very impressive. They didn't qualify especially well, but eventually came home in 9th place. So, as we already mentioned, because the temperature is pretty low here, it's going to be 2 formation laps for these cars, just giving the drivers a good opportunity to get some heat into the tyres. It is a glorious autumnal evening, but it's pretty nippy. We're quite high up here in the Styrian Mountains. We're about 677 meters above sea level. This circuit, fairly short, 10 turns, 7 to the right and 3 to the left. It's 4.318 kilometers around. That equates to about 2.683 miles. We're in the Styrian Mountains, near the village of Spielberg, about 75 kilometers northwest of Graz, about 200 kilometers southwest of Vienna. When we arrived at the Vienna airport on Thursday, it was chucking it down. All day Friday, it was chucking it down. But I'm pleased to say the rain has cleared, the sun is out, and it is a perfect late afternoon, early evening for a spot of ADAC GT4, the 2nd race of the penultimate round of the season. So as the cars start on their formation lap, you see the shadows are long because the light is fading, and it's Finn Zulav who starts on pole position once again. Leighton Fury alongside him is going to give him a run for his money as they head into turn 1. Philip Gogelok, another great qualifying for him. If he can get the thing slowed down, it'll be a result. Thomas Gore even alongside him on row 2. Alon Gabe and Henrik Still, and all Porsche row 3 ahead of Luca Bosco. Championship leader Mikael Stray, bit of work to do from 8th on the grid. Ferdinand Winter, the winners from Nürburgring, has Enzo Juliet on row 5 of the grid, and on row 6 Jan Matthias, very impressive indeed, with Denny Burnt for company, yesterday's 2nd place finishers. Philip Viskersen and Leon Vassather, and all BMW row 7 of the grid. And on row 8, Tommy Rackel and Philip Dietrich it's a Porsche, and it's the BMW alongside them. On row 9, Daniel Drexel and Jarni van der Kratz. And then on row 10 of the grid, Matthias Salonen for CV Performance. They were very quick yesterday, along with Lachlan Robinson and Joseph Ellerine for company. On row 11, Ugo Frederick Federico Bagnasco, great to welcome promo drive here with Emil Jördrum. He didn't get a drive yesterday after his co-driver Jan-Philipp Springhob had mechanical issues and had to retire. At the back of the grid, really struggling for pace in qualifying, Tom Edgar, but expect he and Joe Warhurst to be moving forward from there. The FK Performance BMW, no doubt they will be throwing caution to the wind as they push their way forwards through the field. We're on to the second formation lap now, so the clock has started ticking, but this is a really good opportunity to make sure that the next time these cars arrive at this corner, turn 1, they've got something that's going to be reasonably grippy as they look to turn in. I mentioned Jan-Philipp Springhob alongside Emil Jördrum, the number 86 CV Performance Group Mercedes. The number 85 car that Jan-Philipp normally drives alongside Alex Connor had something fairly terminal wrong with it when they rolled it out prior to coming here. They've had to juggle things around. Sadly, Alex Connor and William Tregurtha on the bench for this particular event. Jan-Philipp Springhob has jumped in alongside Emil Jördrum, replacing William Tregurtha there. Just for this event, hopefully we can have normal service, which should hopefully be resumed for the season finale at Hockenheim. There is the points situation, 26 points between first and second, with even Ekulchik and Ferdinand Winter 72 points adrift. There are 75 points on the table. There will be 50 points available after today, so we're not going to see the championship sealed, but even Ekulchik and Ferdinand Winter would need something fairly dramatic to happen to the number 2 and the number 31 cars for them to take the championship. Mikael Stray, Gabriel Piana, they won the championship back in 2021. We know they are quick. They have had 5 wins in 9 races this season. That's a pretty good return rate, but it is consistency. They need the points. They got the points for 4th place yesterday, but their nearest challengers took the top step of the podium, so closed in on those points standing. So the instruction has been given to grid up for the cars. It will be something around 57.5-ish minutes remaining on the clock when we receive the green flag to go racing. There is this safety car, lights ablaze. The Cupra will peel off into the pit lane. They're heading in towards turn 9 at the moment. The circuit, a lot of undulation, and it's quite a downhill section in towards turn 9. There goes the safety car into the pits, and it's downhill towards turn 10. Those 3 bollards you see at the side are very important. The drivers must stay inside those bollards. There's another 3 on the exit of turn 10. Can't guarantee they'll still be there at the end of the race, but the drivers need to stay within those so as to not exceed track limits. This is going to be fascinating. I predict Leighton Fury is going to be going all out here. He's not worried about the championship. Finn Zulav certainly is. Are you ready? Race 10 of the season, ADAC GT4 Germany is go! Finn Zulav, a great start from him. Look at Tommy Gore going wide up towards turn 1, but it's Finn Zulav. Philip Gogolok squeezing through into 2nd place. The car's scattering as they come round turn 1. Great start from Philip Gogolok. Now being lined up by Leighton Fury along turn 2, a turn that is taken absolutely flat out. We're on board with Luca Bosco for BWT Muka Motorsport. Up the hill they come. Keep an eye on Mikael Stray on the wide outside as well. They're all scrambling around. Bit of contact between Tommy Gore and Philip Gogolok. Looks like they survived. Finn Zulav, a good clear lead. Luca Bosco alongside Enzo Juliet, his teammate, as they head in now towards turn 4. But look at that lead Finn Zulav has already. Philip Gogolok in a 2nd place, 3 abreast into the corner. A bit of contact between Tommy Gore and Leighton Fury. It means Fury onto the gravel. He fights to get the car back, pointing in the right direction. But it is Tommy Gore who made that little bit of contact with him. Everybody has survived. The stewards might want to take a look at it. But now more drama further back. You saw the number 30 car, Henrik Still, going wide as well on board with Luca Bosco. Everybody now fighting for those positions. And it looks like the 30 car is either in trouble or a lot of dirt. Look at Gianni van der Kratz doing rallycross across the corner. Yes, the number 30 car trailing smoke. I think Henrik Still might be in trouble here. There's some smoke coming from the right front. Luca Bosco giving a little punt in towards turn 9. This is very physical racing. Cars go scattering everywhere. That's Matias into the fence, one of the BWT cars, and you can see there on board with Luca Bosco. We're going to get a safety car here, I've no doubt about that. Oh, what a shame, Gianni van der Kratz as well. That has been a humongous accident. So we've lost Bosco, we've lost Matias, and we've lost Gianni van der Kratz. This may even be a red flag, I don't know. It's safety car at the moment. So here comes Hendrik Still, what remains of that Porsche. We can see it was ailing. There was a lot of action going into turn 10. Safety car is out. Definitely need that. Hopefully the barrier is intact, because that will determine whether we can keep this going behind the safety car. We do have a curfew here of 6 p.m. local time. We also have issues with the light fading. We've got plenty of time at the moment, so hopefully we can keep this going. There is Hendrik Still in the car, and he looks to be all okay. Luca Bosco, we had that brief shot of him in the car. Hopefully he's all okay as well. And we also will hopefully see Gianni van der Kratz exiting his car, but a fairly big impact there. Also Jan Matias, that's his car there. It means that Damon Suzushin, who's come all the way from Canada, check out his show, Going Pro. He probably won't be showing that particular incident too often on it. Well worth checking out, but he's not going to get a drive of that car this afternoon. There is Hendrik Still wandering back to the pits. So Max Kronberg is not going to get a drive today either. They lead the trophy standings at the moment. They've got a 64.5 point lead, so they'll still be leading it once this race has finished, but that lead may well be reduced somewhat. You can see the level of carnage out there. Cars scattered, BWT scattered as well. We've also, looks like we've lost Philip Dietrich. Oh, what an absolute shame. The local driver, Philip Dietrich, looks like that's him that's parked up, just heading up into turn 1. So I think David Lackner is not going to get a drive either. So needless to say, the incident has been reported to the stewards. Also in there, Denny Burnt, we have gone red flag. So had a feeling that might happen. So the clock is stopped, and the cars will be brought back to the grid. ADAC GT4 Germany always entertains. We do sometimes get some red flag periods as well. So I think there may be repairs that need to be done to the fence. Right, having another look here. Well, we see Fury was out wide. We could see that Still was ailing a little bit as well. There's smoke coming from the car. The front of that pack was Tommy Gore. So they headed around. There was a lot of bumping and barging, pretty well up and down the pack. I think the stewards will be looking to that one till midnight, I should think. So out wide. So out wide went one of the BWT cars, but that was prior to where the explosion happened. The rest of the pack coming through, and Gianni van der Kratz sliding across the gravel. That was Emil Yerdrum in the 86 car as well. This is where it all kicked off. So Still went spinning, looked like pretty well unaided. Bosco, it was a big impact. He also collected Leon Wasserthurer, so that's going to be another casualty. That was a big impact for the BMW. Bosco, that was a big thump, but this was a bigger thump there, getting collected by several cars, and that's a really horrible feeling. This is probably not going to be pretty viewing, I shouldn't think. Bosco, the wheel snatched out of his hand, and then came the next one as well, and you just feel the trauma as those impacts come. His car just getting bullied out of the way. It's a very fast corner, turn 10, and the cars go piling in, and the driver very much a passenger. I mean, at that point, you're just going to the scene of the accident, aren't you? Philip Dietrich, well, you could see he was the one who clipped the front. He went wide out of 10. and almost avoided. Oh, good heavens. That was a massive impact from Gianni van der Kratz, T-boning. Well, that explains why Luca Bosco was looking a little bit shaken, doesn't it? He T-boned the pink Mercedes, and that was a very big impact. Look up here, and you can see the car's scattering. Bosco was now side on. He had been punted from pillar to post. And there's so many cars involved. So that was Vasserthura as well, who was involved in that. And we got lots of angles on this. There's Bosco disappeared off. There's Matthias onto the inside wall. There aren't many cars that weren't involved in that. So Tommy Gore got through before it all happened. And that was the biggest impact. And it was on the driver's door as well. So Luca Bosco, really pleased that he's all okay, because that was a really heavy impact, and that would have shaken him up. And our best wishes to Luca Bosco. He has been such a welcome addition to the ADAC GT4 Germany series this year. He's from Italy. Mattis Ploshkul, his co-pilot as well, clearly will not be driving that car this afternoon, and I don't think anybody will be driving that car ever again. I shouldn't think it'll probably be dropped in the nearest skip, and they're going to have to start again if they want to put a car on the track for Hockenheimring, I expect. So the cars have been pulled into the pit lane. They've been instructed to stop in the fast lane. It's going to be a big sweep-up operation. My commentary box is about opposite to what you're looking at now on the outside of the circuit. I'm just looking to see what I can see, and can't really see very much towards turn 10, but Leon Vasserthura is currently parked up against the pit wall on the pit straight, and his car will need to be retrieved. There'll be a fair bit of debris that'll need to be swept up as well. I don't know whether the red flag is for fence repairs or whether it is just to clear debris, but whatever it is, we'll need to get that sorted. And right, well, let's have a look, see where we were. Well, in all of that, while that was going on, off screen, Philip Gogolok got into the lead of the race. Now, whether that remains, oh, no, it doesn't. It says cars 55 and 31 to change positions in the pit lane. It's just flashed up on the timing screen. So we're seeing Gogolok as the leader at the moment, with Finn Zulaf down to second. But I expect, in all the confusion, red flags and all the rest of it, the instruction was given to change positions. I'm assuming that is Gogolok behind Zulaf and not the other way around. You can see here right now what's going on here as they're removing the Gianni van der Kratz car, and we can see just the marshals working on the clear-up operation. There is an awful lot of scrap metal, and the crew's working hard on getting that lot cleared up. It's a fast section of the track. You come out of turn 9, it's fairly downhill. You can see the uphill climb to turn 1 from there as well. Yeah, attempted to run this track on Friday night. The climb up into turn 1 was fairly hard work. The climb up into turn 3 was even harder. Right, well, we can see there is a medical vehicle on track as well at the moment, but I think pretty sure all is okay, but hopefully certainly Luca Bosco, hopefully he's all okay as well. You can see the cars in the pit lane. So at the time of the stoppage, Gogolok and Zulaf, Philip Gogolok, Finn Zulaf, they are 1 and 2. On the timing screen, it's saying that Gogolok is the leader, Finn Zulaf in second. The instruction has been, the message has been given on the timing screen for Gogolok and Zulaf to change positions in the pit lane, but I don't know which one was in front when that instruction was given. Sorry. Tommy Gore, solid driving there, into third place at the moment. Alon Gabet in 4th place ahead of Mikael Schrey. He's in 5th place. Enzo Juliet in 6th place. Leighton Fury, well, we knew he was going to be pushing hard, but down into 7th place. He got muscled out a little bit by Tommy Gore, I think, down in 7th. Emil Yerdrum in 8th place ahead of Daniel Drexel. and Tommy Rackle. Tom Edgar from the back of the pack up to 11th place. Then Denny Burnt, yesterday's second place finisher, in 12th. Philip Viskersen in 13th place, and then Joseph Ellerine in 14th, and Matthias Salonen in 15th place. And Matthias Salonen, who shares the wheel of the Data Lab Sports with CV Performance Group Mercedes AMG GT4. Try saying that after a couple of drinks. He sharing with Lachlan Robinson, and it was pointed out to me after the event yesterday, look at the progress that they made, because Lachlan Robinson and Matthias Salonen, they started from absolute stone last, and they made it all the way up into, double check the notes, into 12th place yesterday. So they overtook 11 places to get that really good going. And it was certainly a best ever result for Lachlan Robinson. I think probably the best ever result for Matthias Salonen as well. So that was a good job yesterday. Incident between cars 2 and 30 in turn 6 reported to the stewards. So that is Mikael Schrey, who maybe that is what happened to Hendrik Still. So that incident has been reported to the race stewards as well. They're going to be rewinding the tapes and looking at that for some time yet, I should think. Drivers, well, they're still in the cars at the moment. If you just joined us, we are under red flag conditions after a very large incident. Right, 10 minutes has been shown, so it's currently 1 minute past 5. So according to my complex maths, and to get the calculator out for this one, 11 minutes past 5 local time is when we would expect this race to get underway. The light is starting to fade a little bit here, but still, I mean, the sun's still out. It's not going to get dark anytime soon. But one of the issues is the long shadows and the sun in your eyes, as you can see from that man walking out the pit lane as they head into turn 1. So that is the car that is currently well, second in line. Have they swapped positions or not? I don't actually have that information, but one of those two are in the lead. It's either Philip Gogolok or Finn Zulauf. Zulauf very much with the championship in mind. The championship, as I said at the beginning of the show, is alive and kicking as Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp try to close in on Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Piana. And they are 26 points adrift there. A new race distance will be 44 minutes plus 1 lap. In jokes with sound technician, not really appreciated here at the moment. So then we're looking at the Jamaican car, Tommy Gore, Senna Summerbell. If they can keep that in a 3rd place, that would be a heck of a result. Philip Gogolok say we didn't see him driving yesterday. He took over from, well, he would have taken over from Jan Marszałkowski. It has been great to see both of them on the grid on ADAC GT4 Germany this year, but you have to feel their frustration because they've had the machinery in terms of an Aston Martin Vantage GT4 prepared by Eastside Motorsport in collaboration with Zach Speed, the legendary team, but it does seem as though the Aston Martin Vantage does have an issue. It seems to be an inherent issue with the brakes. I remember seeing the Aston Martin safety car going into the barrier at Monza, if I remember rightly, for the Formula 1 race. But certainly this team have struggled to get the thing slowed down. And Jan was looking really quick yesterday. He was leading the race from pole position, and a scary moment where the brakes failed heading into turn 1. There was a big wobble on, and the car speared off. Fortunately, Jan, using a fair amount of experience that he has to make sure the car didn't end up in a tyre barrier, but they've been very frustrated. They've been working on that overnight, so they're hoping that Philip Gogolok will be able to get that car to the end and that the brakes will work, or at least Jan Marszałkowski will when he takes over. I haven't mentioned the pit window. We do have a pit window in GT4 Germany. And the pit window normally opens 25 minutes into the race and remains open for 10 minutes and then closes 35 minutes into the race. Don't see any reason why that might be delayed, but they might do. So when the pit window opens, every car will need to come in within the next 10 minutes for a mandatory stop and driver change. There is a minimum pit stop time of 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. I'm just listening in. No, okay, that's nothing I understand. Yeah, the minimum pit stop time of 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. So drivers must not go below that. The team obviously using a lot of strategy to decide when to bring the car in. Right, so the new pit window will be at 17:24 local time. So if the race is starting at 11 minutes past, that's 13 minutes on into the race. So 13 from 44 is 31. So I believe that when the clock strikes 31 to go, the pit window will open, but I could be terribly wrong on that. My maths is not one of my strong points. And yes, well, we'll just see what happens, won't we? The pit window will open 17:24 local time. That's what you need to know. We are just a fraction over 5 minutes away from this race getting back underway after a red flag. So if you want to put the kettle on, make it a quickie, because when this gets going, it's going to be exciting. We're going to see a challenge between Philip Gogolok and Finn Zulauf for the top step of the podium. We've got a Jamaican in third place. I think that's the first time ever that will have occurred in ADAC GT4 Germany. Tommy Gore's Senna Summerbell bringing Caribbean vibes and Jamaican colours. That's their words, not mine. So they are in third place. Alain Gabet, a good result there at the moment with Tannoy Neumann. I've not been able to say that name at any point correctly during the season. Their best result so far has been a 5th place. So if they could bring that home in 4th, they'd be happy. So championship leaders, Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Piana in 5th place. So I'm going to tempt fate here, and I'm going to do some maths. So if Schrey and Piana were to finish in 5th place, they would get 11 points. My legendary maths is kicking in here. If Zulauf and Josef Knott were to finish 2nd, they would get 20 points, so the gap would be 17 points between first and second in the championship. If Zulauf and Knott could finish first, they will get 25 points, and that would reduce the gap to their leaders in the championship to just 12 points. So you just know, anybody who thought that Schrey and Piana had got this one signed and sealed will know that you cannot bank on anything in ADAC GT4 Germany. In the junior rankings, Finn Zulauf and Josef Knott both have 170 points, so they are very well clear of Enzo Julier. He has 115 points, so he's 55 points behind them. Max Rosam and Leighton Fury have 107 points. They are 63 points behind. That is with 75 points on the table. They're the only 3 cars that are in the junior championship. In the trophy ranking for the bronze-rated drivers, Max Kronberg and Tannoy Neumann are fighting with each other. Well, Kronberg's not going to score anything today. Tannoy Neumann might well do it because he's sharing with Alain Gabet, who's in 4th place. But they've got 64.5 points to make up. In the team championship, Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport lead Avia WNS Motorsport by just 20 points. So the points are awarded to just the best placed car within that team. You saw your notice there, race will be resumed behind the safety car, and that will happen in about 3 minutes from now. So hopefully the track has been swept up and the fence has been repaired, and we will be getting ready to go. The other thing we haven't mentioned is Finn Zulauf and Josef Knott are carrying success ballast as a result of winning yesterday an additional 15 kilograms of success ballast. Simon Burt and Denny Burnt have an additional 10 kilograms of success ballast on account of finishing in 2nd place yesterday. And Hendrik Still and Max Kronberg, well, they're carrying significantly less weight now because they've shed bits of the car after that accident, but they would have been carrying 5 kilograms. So race will be resumed behind the safety car. For all the people who are saying, will this commentator ever stop? My job is just to keep things going, not to present you with any dead air. And so I'm willing the marshals to sweep quicker because we will be getting underway in 2 minutes from now. Now, car 10 is under investigation for a false start, as is also the case for car 3. So that is Leon Wasserthurer. Well, he's not going to make the restart here. Also, car 71. And I think that at the time, when we went into the green flag conditions at the start of the race, a number of the cars did break rank fairly early. And if the stewards believe that they broke rank too early, they're meant to pass through their pit boxes before they break out of the single files that they're in their respective lanes. If they decide that they did that too early, they may pick up a penalty. So significantly, Denny Berndt was one of those, the car that finished in second place yesterday. So car number 10, currently in 12th place. So 71, Philip Dietrich. Well, he's still been listed on the timing screens. I'm going to have a look out the window to see if he's in the queue. He has actually joined the back of the queue of cars. So Philip Dietrich, all might not be lost. He's in 17th place. And you can see the confirmation there, but he might have some bad news coming if they decide he did have a false start. Number 3, well, that's irrelevant in terms of this race result. Might not be irrelevant in terms of further penalties in the future, but Leon Wasserthurer, he has retired as a result of that incident. Right, we are 35 seconds away from getting this thing back underway. We've had a humongous accident. It was one that was triggered by Hendrik Still spinning on the exit at turn 10, collected a number of other cars. Very significantly, Luca Bosco, who had a big impact, was collected by several other cars, including a big impact from Gianni van der Kratz. And again, we send our best wishes to all the drivers that were involved in that. We have lost Ferdinand Vinton, Leon Wasserthurer, Hendrik Still, Luca Bosco, Jan Matthias, and Gianni van der Kratz. It means we will not see Mo Ritson, we will not see Damon Suzushin, we will not see Mattis Ploskul, we will not see Max Kronberg, nor Tim Reiter, nor even Eccleshick. Those cars are out of the race, and the co-drivers will not get an opportunity either. We have 17 runners and riders remaining as the clock now starts to tick down. The race is now back underway. We may do a lap or two behind the safety car. We'll let you know about that. But the clock is ticking. Of course, strictly no overtaking behind the safety car. But an important time, right, well, there's your confirmation. It was Finn Zulaf who was requested to jump in front of Philip Gogolok. So Gogolok was briefly mentioned as the leader. Well, he was that on the timing screen. He still is actually on my timing screen. But Zulaf has now jumped in front. So clearly the stewards have decided that Philip is going to have to do all that again, and he would love that. His best ever result in ADAC GT4 Germany was a 5th place at the Nürburgring last time out, and that was certainly not a reflection on how quickly he was going. Finn Zulaf, though, is a very, very rapid driver, but Gogolok will know that Finn Zulaf has a championship to think about. And he will not be wanting, certainly Finn Zulaf will not be wanting to take any risks, because if he ends up in the gravel trap, that is going to hold a massive advantage to Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Piana as we head in towards the final 2 races of the season. So behind the safety car here, and the car circulating around turn 8 at the moment in the evening sunshine at the Red Bull Ring. It is race 10 of a 12-race season for ADAC GT4 Germany. We continue behind the safety car. We're in the 6th season of this legendary championship. In just 6 years, it has become something that people have been really taking notice of. It has launched the careers of many drivers and set them up the ladder towards GT3 racing as well. Last year's champions, Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortman, have moved on to other things. And Mike David Ortman, we saw at GT Masters earlier on. His co-driver was the driver who finished 2nd in this championship last year. That was Dennis Bolotov, and he's Mike David Altman's co-driver in GT Masters this year. We are on the road to DTM. The winner of this championship with funding for the GT Masters next year, and the winner in GT Masters with funding towards the DTM. All parts of the ADAC pyramid, the ladder, whatever you want to call it, the structure that nurtures drivers, and the ADAC also nurturing them all the way from the absolute beginning in karting. A lot of the very young drivers coming through the ranks. We've got one eye over the shoulders of some of the superstars that are coming through. One of the current superstars in the number 47 car, Tom Edgar, done a great job, up to 11th place, and that was from Stone last on the grid. And yes, we've lost a few cars, but he's also overtaken an awful lot of cars as well. So Tom Edgar looking very threatening from there. Right, safety car is in on this lap, so it'll be just under 40 minutes remaining when they come round to receive the green flag, and it will be Finn Zulauf who will decide when to go. The only rules: don't overtake the safety car, and don't overtake anybody. This is for all the drivers before you get to the start-finish line. So it'll be up to Finn Zulauf. When he hits the accelerator, he will want to get Philip Gogolok napping if he can. Philip Gogolok will be very wise to that. I expect to see Zulauf doing some weaving and Gogolok not. Well, they're all in single file at the moment. Now Zulauf has already pulled the pin, so he's gone early into turn 9 in the shadow under the trees, and towards turn 10 we are back underway. 39.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. Going out slightly wider, that's bits of tape holding the car together, so that was the result of the earlier incident. But up towards turn 1, Finn Zulauf, Philip Gogolok with Tommy Gore behind him threatening, going out wide. The Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport car of Mikael Schrae, championship leader, losing a position to Alain Gabet, at least slotting in behind him. So Gabet still in that 4th place. But look at Leighton Fury. He is furious as he comes up towards turn 3 after a troubled start on the outside of Enzo Julier, the last of the BWT Mucca Mercedes in this race. Mikael Schrae very much with the championship in mind, slots back in behind Alain Gabet. That is 4th and 5th place. A penalty lap has been awarded to Philip Dietrich for a false start. It means on the exit of turn 3 next time around, he'll have to pass through the penalty box at no more than 50 kilometers an hour. He's at the back of the pack at the moment, but it will add an additional 5 seconds onto his lap time. Look at this, the fight for 4th place now. Mikael Schrae, another one also to the penalty box. Denny Byrne also awarded a penalty lap for a false start. That was the first time of asking. Alain Gabet in 4th place, racing for trophy championship points, with Mikael Schrae, championship leader, behind him in 5th place. He has a little look to the inside, but behind Enzo Julier, does not need much of an invitation. Very wide line for Tommy Gore, fairly wide line for Alain Gabet as well. It leaves a gap on the inside. Schrae has filled it with BMW, but what did I say about Enzo Julier not needing much of an invitation? 3 abreast, but Enzo Julier has the push from Leighton Fury, who's behind as well. The aerodynamic advantage potentially into turn 1. Enzo Julier past all of them and steals those positions away. Leighton Fury, Enzo Julier working together. Now Leighton Fury, now he's going for glory. Turn 2, absolutely flat out up the hill towards turn 3. Enzo Julier on the inside, Leighton Fury on the outside. Now the heavy braking into the corner. Leighton Fury sweeps past both of them, but Enzo Julier coming back. The back of the car slides around, makes contact. Now Mikael Schrae getting back involved as well. Alain Gabet in there as well. There is Denny Byrne passing through the penalty box as requested, but the rest of the cars fighting for those positions. Looking down into turn 4, Enzo Julier back past to Leighton Fury. The 2 cars running almost as one behind them. Mikael Schrae with Alain Gabet now to the inside, trying to relegate the BMW. Mikael Schrae needs to not get any damage. He needs the points to keep his championship lead nice and healthy at the front of that queue, though. Enzo Julier up into 4th place, Leighton Fury into 5th, and then Mikael Schrae into 6th place ahead of Alain Gabet. great racing. That's how it's done. Our leader, Finn Zulaf, Philip Gogolon behind. Look at Leighton Fury challenging once again Enzo Juliet. We said he was going to be feisty. He goes to the inside. Mikael Schrader just holding back slightly as he sees the BMW to the inside of the Mercedes. Enzo Juliet taking a very wide line. There are a number of track infringements that have popped up on my timing screen, but I don't want to look away from this battle because it is so mesmerizing. The battle for fourth place. Enzo Juliet, Leighton Fury, Mikael Schrader, Alain Gabet, Daniel Drexel there as well, now running side by side. Flat out, foot to the floor, Leighton Fury. The drag race up the hill towards turn 3. It looks like Leighton Fury is going to have that fourth place under braking if he can get it slowed down. Now look at Mikael Schrader trying to come round both of them, but he's got Enzo Juliet on the inside. Leighton Fury now finds his way into that fourth place, sets about after Tommy Gore, but what a scrap for fourth place. There's first, second, third, then a big gap back to this battle that we have been following. Leighton Fury at the front of that battle. Mikael Schrader going wide, losing a position to Alain Gabet. Now Daniel Drexel in the Porsche coming through as well to try and take that position away from Mikael Schrader. Schrader finally falling back into line. Look at Emil Yerdrum drifting around the corner in the background. Tommy Rackle is in there as well. Brilliant stuff from these young chargers in the ADAC GT4 Germany. We've got track limits infringements. No penalties have been awarded, but Enzo Juliet is one of them. Another is Mikael Schrader. Loads of cars, in fact. Also, our race leader, Finn Zulaf, also with a track limit warning. This race might yet be decided in the stewards box. Mikael Schrader, Gabriel Piana, if the race finished now, would lead Finn Zulaf and Josef Knott by 11 points. Marc Di Fulgento, Enzo Juliet would be out of the championship hunt. Towards turn 1 we come once again in the evening sun. 34 minutes remaining. Take a deep breath as we watch ADAC GT4 Germany. So up the hill in towards turn 3. Once again, Mikael Schrader fighting back. Daniel Drexel in that 8th place, trying to take the position away from Mikael Schrader. But Leighton Fury in the 4th place, ahead of him. So we look down at turn 4. Then it's Enzo Juliet. So many place swaps are going on, hard to keep on top of it. Our race leader, Finn Zulaf, about 9/10 of a second ahead of Philip Gogolon, then Tommy Gore, then Leighton Fury, then Enzo Juliet, Alain Gabet, Mikael Schrader in the car that just passed through your screen there, the silver and blue BMW. Emil Yerdrum, he's having fun, isn't he? He's drifting the back end out of that car. Behind him is Tom Edgar into 12th place at the moment. So the BMW driver who came from stone last on the grid, pushing forward still in the number 47 car. There is Mikael Schrader in 7th place at the moment. We've had black and white flags awarded to a number of cars, including car number 2, Mikael Schrader. That is for track limits. Philip Gogolon in that 2nd place. Everything seems to be working at the moment, but Finn Zulaf seems to have the pace as they head out towards turn 2. Here come the remainder of the field, hustling the car across the corners here at the Red Bull Ring in the evening sunshine, across the sausage curves, then flat out along turn 2. They come and up the hill into turn 3, the steep climb, carrying an awful lot of speed, then the heavy braking as you turn right for the corner. Right, how far away from the pit window are we? Well, we're a little way yet, a couple of minutes. The pit window will be opening in a couple of minutes from now, but we'll wait to see when that was. I think it was 17:24, wasn't it? So it'll be in about a minute's time the pit window will open. That is when the race will take another twist and another turn. Finn Zulaf, though, in control, headlights blazing. Black and white flag, there's your confirmation for Mikael Schrader. the driver in 7th place at the moment. Championship leader, their main championship rival, is leading the race. Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp in car 31 are leading the race with 2 races to go. Graphics issue there. There comes our 2nd place, 3rd place, Tommy Gore, and then behind them, Leighton Fury. Along the pit straight we come. So really impressive. There's your 1, 2, 3. You don't really need a stopwatch to tell you what the gap is, but if you're interested, it's 1.269 between 1st and 2nd, 1.782 between 2nd and 3rd, 2.727 between 3rd and 4th. This is the fight for 8th position. Daniel Drexel with Philip Viskirchen behind him in the number 66 car. Philip Viskirchen for ME Motorsport. His co-driver is the ME of ME Motorsport, Marcus Eichela, and he will be jumping behind the wheel of that car once the pit window has opened, which will be in but a few seconds. Looking down from turn 3, and there once again the 47 of Tom Edgar looking to having trouble just getting the car turned in. Ahead of him is Emil Jötram in the heavily gaffer-taped Mercedes AMG in the number 86 car. Of course, he didn't get that drive yesterday as a result of the car retiring in the hands of Jan-Philipp Springer. Quickest man on the track is Finn Zulauf, a 1:37.622. That was on lap 8. We're currently on lap 10. We're on board with Tom Edgar once again in 12th place, challenging for that 11th place. He has a gap on the inside. The 2 cars heading towards turn 7 now. Jötram closes the door. Tom Edgar having to wind it up again now into the forest section of the track. They will come. It's turn 8, then turn 9. Mercedes versus BMW. The fight for 11th place. Tom Edgar looks to the left, looks to the right. Now into turn 9, the downhill section. There's going to be a gap on the inside. Jötram thinks about shutting the door, but Edgar's already in there. It's a drag race at a turn 10, along past the pits, absolutely side by side. Who is going to enter turn 1 in front? They wave at each other. I'm not sure if that was a hello or whether that was get out of the way. Whatever it was, it's gone the way of Tom Edgar. Great bit of communicating there amongst the drivers. Lovely stuff. In towards turn 1, Tom Edgar moves up a position up into 11th place, but they're fighting each other still. Emil Jötram coming back at him up the hill to turn 3. Edgar's going to have the wide outside. He's going to have to get it slowed down. Jötram coming back on the inside on the exit at turn 3. Just behind them, Matthias Salonen, who's been coming through the field as well. Finally, Tom Edgar gets the job done. Can he make it stick? In towards turn 3. Heavy braking downhill here. Now under braking, the right-hand turn. Edgar finally has it signed and sealed, or does he? Jötram not giving up on this one. Emil Jötram, great stuff from both of these drivers. Really impressive driving. But Emil Jötram currently relegated that position. The Norwegian driver versus the British driver, but he's not giving up yet. Look who's behind them. Matthias Salonen from Finland wants to get involved. He too in the same team car, the CV Performance Group car. But now, once again, let's have a look at the hand signals going on here. So it's right. Hello, mate. Oh no, he's putting his visor down. He's like, hello, how are you? That is Tom Edgar. So they're still fighting, aren't they? Into turn 10. Once again, Tom Edgar, he's going to have to make that BMW as wide as possible. Jötram looks to have a bit of pace there, but Tom Edgar using just the racecraft to try and stay in front. Right. In all of that, the pit window has been open for a few moments, and now, unfortunately, we've lost our graphics to tell us how long, but into the pits comes Mikael Schrey, championship leader, going to be handing the car over to Gabriel Piana. Piana, arguably the more experienced of the two. He's the only driver ever to have raced in every single ADAC GT4 Germany race there's ever been. So now Emil Jötram has Denny Berndt for company. After that visit to the penalty box, Denny Berndt has come back into 11th place. So Denny Berndt back into the fight. Right, we've got our graphics here now, so we can see what's been going on. You can see the clock ticking down. So Mikael Stray, Tommy Rackle have gone into the pits. Niels Truger in the number 49 car has taken over from Joseph Ellerine. This fight continues to rage on. At the front of the queue, Tommy Edgar in a 9th place. He'll want to stay out there. He doesn't want to come into the pits and hand the car over, does he? But Denny Burnt looking very quick. Those Porsches have been very quick all weekend long. And we've seen Porsches at the front, and there's one on the front at the moment. Finn Zulauf leading the way. Tommy Gore in a Porsche in 3rd place. Gabriel Piana out of the pits, so he gets to rejoin. He's going to be a lap down, but of course, the cars in front of him will all need to pit as well. Everything good if the P remains green. All is good. If it goes red, it means they may well have gone below the minimum pit stop time. You can see the clock counting down. Daniel Drexel into the pits. He is handing over to Adrian Ruchny in the number 40 car. Tom Edgar has peeled off into the pits, so Joe Warhurst will be poised and ready to jump into action. The two English drivers, a very, very welcome addition to ADAC GT4 Germany this year. They have entertained us. 6th place at the season over in Oschersleben has been their best result so far. Would dearly love to get it on the podium. There's our race leader at the moment, Finn Zulauf. I would suggest he's probably going to stay out as late as possible in the pit window before handing it over to Josef Knopp, because he's got a clear track in front of him. He's got a lot of experience. Philip Gogolok in 2nd place has done a solid job in the Aston Martin, but will be nervous about whether the car will get to the end of the race. Jan Marszałkowski will be standing by in the pits ready to take over. Tommy Gore in 3rd place would dearly love to get his first podium along with Senna Somerville, but there's still another 25 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. The pit window will be open for another 3 3/4 minutes. So there's still the opportunity to get another couple of laps in before peeling off into the pits. Still an awful lot of drivers, 10 drivers to be precise, who haven't pitted. Daniel Drexel, you can see, has peeled off. I'd said that already, into the pits. He's handed over to Adrian Ruchny. Joe Warhurst is in the driving seat of car 47, and they timed that well, only a 1/10 of a second over to the pit exit, so that's been timed really well. Look at this as we head out towards turn 2 and up the hill towards turn 3. So that Gabriel Piana in the BMW. That's not for position though, that's 5th place. Enzo Juliet, who's yet to come in and hand over to Mark Di Fulgenzio. So Enzo Juliet flashing the lights, because for him that is a lapped car, but when all is done and dusted, this may well be for a trophy position. There are so many track limit infringements, my timing screen is not big enough. Most of the cars appear to have had some kind of warning, but we've had no penalties awarded yet. Of course, those are likely to come in the latter part of this race. So there may well be more drama yet to come from race control before this race is over. 23 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. The pit window is still open, and it will be open for about another 3 1/4 minutes. Right, race leader in, Finn Zulauf into the pits. Also Gogolok, 2nd place. 3rd is in as well, Tommy Gore, Leighton Fury. So the top 4 all peeling into the pits. Enzo Juliet as well. Here they come, keeping to the pit lane speed limit. We're just seeing Lachlan Robinson peeling off into the pit lane. He has taken over from Matthias Salonen, but this is really significant. Now, Philip Gogolok, I don't know if he was just checking everything was working or whether he was about to turn into the wrong pit box. A bit of a wobble there, but he carries on towards the Eastside Motorsport Zach Speed pit box. The BWT Muka Motorsport crew are standing by, and there, out of the garage comes Mark Di Fulgenzio, ready to relieve Enzo Juliet of driving duties, but this is the important one. Josef Knopp, yesterday's winner, will be taking over from Finn Zulauf, the car that's finished first yesterday, the top step of the podium. Can they do that rare thing of back-to-back wins? At the moment, the driver changes take place. The clock ticks down, 95 seconds. The rest of the cars out on track. So looking out on screen, the car at the lead of the cars that have pitted is Gabriel Piana. in ninth place at the moment. But where will the rest of these cars file in relation to Gabriel Piana? Everybody's been in apart from 66. Philipp Viskirchen has still to hand over to Marcus Eichela. Everybody else has made their stop. So Viskirchen will be the leader of this race until he comes into the pits. There is Josef Knopp. Car fired up, will want to time it to perfection on the pit exit. Now, where will he emerge in relation to Gabriel Piana? Piana out of turn 9 at the moment. I think that Josef Knopp will be well ahead of Gabriel Piana, but the tyres would have cooled down as a result of being stationary. There's Jan Marszałkowski coming out behind Josef Knopp, and he will fancy an opportunity to get past now Philipp Viskirchen into the pits as well. So you can see the clock ticking down. So our new race leader will be Josef Knopp. He retakes the lead of the race in the number 31 car. At least the team does take the lead of the race. So this is the battle for 1, 2, 3. After the pit stop sequences, it really looks like Max Rosam is going to be in third place. A solid job from him. You see the cars in turn 4. There's Marcus Eichela taking over from Philipp Viskirchen. Great to have ADAC Motorsport on the grid of ADAC GT4 Germany. And that is the Wimmer Werk Motorsport car into the barriers. There's been a massive impact. Another big drama. That is David Lackner and Jan-Philipp Springhoff. They've come together up into turn 1. This is going to bring out a safety car, no doubt about that. I'm hoping it's not going to bring out a red flag because there's a lot of debris on the track. That is in turn 3, not turn 1. So up at turn 3, 2 cars that have come together, a very fast section of circuit. Good to see David Lackner getting out of the car. But clearly some big dramas there. So there's Lackner, who had taken over from Philip Dietrich and just got behind the wheel of the car. Jan-Philipp Springhoff in the 86 car. He'd taken over from Emil Jördrum. Full course yellow at the moment. Surely this is going to be a safety car. I'm not sure. I think they're just going to wait for the 66 car to come out of the pits, and then I reckon it'll be a safety car so as to not present an unfair advantage. Jan-Philipp Springhoff, well, he is under no illusion whose fault he thinks that was. That is another of the CV Performance Group Mercedes cars. So they have, they're going to be running out of shells at this race because they were involved in the earlier accident as well. Right, let's have a look here. And just a bit of a punt, and it looked a little bit, whoa, what an accident, over the top, and he rolled the car. David Lackner rolling the Porsche, having gone over the top of Jan-Philipp Springhoff. That looks something very similar to a brake failure to me. They're getting airborne. What a humongous accident that was. Taking the number 10 car, Simon Birch, as well, but the car just didn't get slowed down. Launched himself over the top of the Mercedes AMG, back onto 4 wheels, going up and over. Also involved was the other of the BMWs, but it looked to me like Lackner had very little in the way of brakes. That is a scary moment. The blue sky as the car goes over, and that was a very big accident. Really pleased to see both cars out of that as well. The 49 of Niels Truger was also involved, and that is a bit of video that is going to be replayed for a long time to come, doing a space shuttle impression. The Wimmer Werk Porsche pointing skywards, having used the 86 car as a ramp. That was on board with David Lackner. Hands off the steering wheel, and you are just a passenger. The car rolling over. We're still at a full course yellow at the moment. I do reckon that's going to be a safety car now before too long. 17 3/4 minutes remaining, and I cannot tell you how happy I am to see David Lackner walking away from that. Well, Jan-Philipp Springhoff, yeah, he's like, I didn't know what happened. I just had an impact, but I get the feeling that David Lackner might report that there was an issue with the brakes because he just didn't even slow as they headed into turn 3. Wimmer Werk from Fischermend, get that right, near Vienna. They've been in the ADAC GT4 Germany since 2023, where they came in as guests. And Felix and Max Wimmer, the brothers who run that team, this is their local circuit. They've been looking forward to this. The all-Austrian team of Philipp Dietrich and David Lachner. Team was founded in 2015. They were in LMP3 briefly. They were in TCR Germany, which is where we got to see them on the ADAC circuit. They got their first ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany with Ferdinand Winter and Ivan Eccleschick. And sadly, both of their cars looking a pretty second-hand after this race, and both of their cars out of the race. Now, this race is still under full course yellow, so what do I know? Cars still very much racing. The clock still ticks. The gaps should remain the same in theory. Josef Knopp with 6 seconds on Jan Marszałkowski. Max Rozan behind him, having found a route past Senna Sommerbelt. Marcus Eicheler and Marc Di Fulgentio. Then Tano Neumann. Gabriel Piana down in 8th place. So it's going to be significant in terms of the points. So if the race were to finish now, Gabriel Piana and Mikael Schrey would earn 8 points. Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp would earn 25. It means that the gap between first and second in the point standings would be down to just 9 points, with another 50 remaining on the table. You can see the crew working hard. I'd say all credit to actually get this cleared up without a safety car, but it looks like that's what they're going to do. So Jan-Philipp Springob's car is hauled from the circuit. That'll be taken back, and one of the many cars that has sustained an awful lot of damage here in race 10 of the season. What a spectacular crash that was. And David Lachner getting launched skywards like a rocket off the Jan-Philipp Springob Mercedes, and then doing a complete rollover. And a lot to be said for the safety of these cars. Hats off to Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, who all prepare wonderful cars that are safe, and it means that we get to have safe driving. The incident, well, there's a surprise, has been reported to the stewards. I should think they'll want to interview David Lachner and find out what occurred, and there'll be some data that will be checked, I expect, as well. But really, it didn't look like he had any braking at all going into that corner up the hill towards turn 3. It's a steep hill, so he was probably decelerating quicker than he might have been, but the car was not slowing down. There is the second place car, Jan Marszałkowski. He'd be quite happy with second, but it felt as though he's got enough for a win here if the car holds together. Started on pole position yesterday, if you remember. His and Philip Gogelock's best result so far was a 5th place at the Nürburgring last time out. Jan Marszałkowski, as far as I can remember, has won at least 1 race in every season of car racing he's ever competed in. We've seen him in ADAC GT Masters, that emotional win with Marvin Dienst at the Sachsenring a couple of years ago. We saw him winning in the Prototype Cup Germany last year at the wheels of an LMP3 car. Right, full course yellow ending in 10 seconds. They've done it without a safety car. Marszałkowski will be disappointed about that. He would have loved a safety car because that would have closed him up on Josef Knopp. He's gone already because Max Rozan has problems getting the car up to speed, so the rest of the cars have gone. Now, whether Max Rozan had an issue or whether he hadn't noticed that the full course yellow had finished, but he has been overtaken by not 1, not 2, but 2 cars, and he's been relegated a couple of positions. Right, Marc Di Fulgentio behind Marcus Eicheler. So Di Fulgentio in 6th place, Eicheler in 5th, in towards turn 3, freshly swept and cleaned up, taking a tight line. Looked like he was almost going to go through the penalty box, but keeping it nice and steady. Di Fulgentio taking that position, but Neumann but Ayshella fighting back. So side by side, not the first time we've seen a Mercedes and a BMW going side by side into turn 4. At the moment, Di Fulgentio has that position, shuts the door, and takes the position away from Marcus Ayshella. So that is for 5th place. So Di Fulgentio continuing his march forwards through the pack. Josef Knopp leading Jan Marszałkowski. We'll see what the gap is. They're around at turn 8 at the moment. We'll see what the gap is when they cross the start-finish line. Once again, the track infringement messages are coming thick and fast. A black and white flag has been shown to Marc Di Fulgentio. That is a serious warning about track limits, and he needs to not get any more of those. Otherwise, he may well find himself with a penalty. In the evening sun, here in the Red Bull Ring, in the Styrian Mountains. There's our race leader. 2.698 is the gap between 1st and 2nd. So Philip Gogolok, who's handed the car over to Jan Marszałkowski in that 2nd place. Senna Summerbell looking for his best result along with Tommy Gore. The 2 Jamaican drivers currently in a podium position. Our leading trophy driver, Marcus Ayshella, ahead of Tano Neumann in 6th and 7th place. You can see the lights starting to fade. The shadows are getting long. The headlights of these cars burning through the darkness as we have 11 minutes remaining of a race that has seen more drama than you can imagine. ADAC GT4 Germany has a lockup. Has Jan Marszałkowski got problems with the brakes? Once again, you saw the puff of smoke as the car headed in towards turn 4. So has he got an issue with that Aston Martin? It's a bit unnerving if the brakes start to fail. He's tiptoeing around the corner. We'll see in a bit. This is Jan Marszałkowski in 2nd place. To remind you, he retired from the race yesterday with brake failure. He's taken a nice tidy line through the corner, so maybe it might have been just a mistake. This is for 12th place. The fight with Lachlan Robinson. And that's Simon Birch trying to come through as well. So Simon Birch, he's been in the battles as well, along with his co-driver, Denny Burnt. You can see the car with a little bit of damage to it. There aren't many that haven't got damage on them at the moment, but sweeping around the outside of Lachlan Robinson. But Robinson fighting back. He has been really rapid here, coming through the pack in both races. But Robinson in that 13th place now as Simon Birch moves his way forwards. Across the line, the gap between 1st and 2nd is 1.792. So it looks as though Marszałkowski still has the means to slow the car down. He needs to hold on for another 9.5 minutes. Can he make a challenge on the lead? We're looking at the battle for 12th place at the moment. Simon Birch, who has found a route past Lachlan Robinson. Behind him is the guesting Silvesterson car. Robinson going very, very deep, but great to have Silvesterson here. He'll be happy with that through into position. So Benjamin Silvesterson from Finland, who's been sharing the driving duties with Ugo Federico Bagnasco from San Marino, guesting in the Promo Drive BMW, the Italian team. I think it's the first time we've had an Italian team in ADAC GT4 Germany as well. They're checking it out with a view to potentially taking part next year, so hopefully they've been enjoying the experience. They've managed to avoid a lot of the drama that has gone on so far, but we've still got 8 3/4 minutes to do something about that. Bit of a wobble under braking from Simon Birch, but all good there. So where's our race leader? Turn 9 at the moment, coming out onto the pit straight. I've got one eye on the timing, 1.792. Last time, well, you can see it's less than that now. Out along the pit straight, Jan Marszałkowski now has taken a 2nd out of Josef Knopp's lead. He fancies an opportunity. He wants to keep his record of winning in every season going, and whatever he's driving, look at Senna Summerbell hustling that Porsche around the corner. We know we've got a lot of people watching us in Jamaica shouting at their screens. Forgive us for not focusing on 3rd place, because the battle for 1st at the moment is certainly gripping us. We've got just under 8 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Josef Knopp, who's taken over from Finn Zulav, has Jan Marszałkowski bearing down on him as they head towards turn 4. Marszałkowski, who has struggled with braking on that Aston Martin, but it looks to be holding together into turn 4. Once again, all looking tidy at the moment. First and second running together. Car 84 under investigation for speeding under a full course yellow. That is Lachlan Robinson. So there may well be that the stewards will want to get involved in that as well. Car 2 also under investigation for speeding under a full course yellow. That's Gabriel Piana, our championship leader, in 8th place. His main championship rivals are leading the race at the moment. Josef Knopp at the wheel of the Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche with 7 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. Can he hold on from Jan Marszałkowski? The graphic says Philip Gogolok, but it is Jan Marszałkowski who is at the wheel of that car. 77 also under investigation. Andrea Jochimsen for speeding under a full course yellow, heading up in towards turn 1. Marszałkowski has a little look to the inside of Josef Knopp. He's now closer than he has been at any point. 0.3 of a second between first and second. Another car under investigation. Many cars under investigation. Senna Somerville for speeding under a full course yellow. Also the 47 of Joe Warhurst under investigation. Not under investigation that I'm aware of. Jan Marszałkowski has a look to the outside of Josef Knopp. Into turn 3 he comes, out towards turn 4. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars under investigation for speeding under under full course yellow. A penalty lap for car 84 as a result of that. But we're looking at turn 4 at the moment. The battle for the lead. A little under 6 minutes remaining of this race. I'm looking one eye on the live pictures, one eye on the timing screen, because there are penalties coming thick and fast at the moment. Black and white flags for track limits for car 10, 62, 40, 10 again. So that'll be Simon Birch with 2 warnings. But this is the battle for the lead. As far as I'm aware, no issues or penalties. Look at Jan Marszałkowski drifting the Aston Martin around the corner. That was around turn 8 in towards turn 9, the downhill section. Once again, you can see the dust rising up into the air out of turn 9 in towards turn 10. Now along the pit straight, Marszałkowski will want to try and dispatch Josef Knopp if he can. Now closer than he has been, picking up a slipstream along past the pits they come. In towards turn 1, will he duck to the outside, to the inside? He goes to the outside, under braking, trying to go the long way around. But Josef Knopp hasn't covered off. Now ducking back to the inside, in towards turn 2. Meanwhile, Senna Somerville in 3rd place, under pressure from Max Rosa. But look at this, Jan Marszałkowski alongside Josef Knopp. Around turn 2 they come, up the hill towards turn 3. Marszałkowski's gonna have the line into turn 3. Josef Knopp gets it slowed down, but it's his nose in front for Jan Marszałkowski, who takes the lead of this race with 4.5 minutes remaining. But now Josef Knopp comes back at him as they head towards turn 4. Fantastic racing from these 2 drivers. Looking down at turn 4. So Marszałkowski, he was in front briefly, but now he's got to do it all again. Out of turn 4 towards turn 5. Now Marszałkowski once again with a gap on the inside. Josef Knopp being very fair, giving him the space that he needs. But Jan Marszałkowski taking a wide line to try and get past the Porsche. The 2 cars run side by side. Still Josef Knopp holding on. Less than 4 minutes remaining. Marszałkowski briefly registering as the leader, now permanently registering as the leader. He jumps into the lead of this race with 3 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. But Josef Knopp is not done yet. Into turn 9 they come, around into turn 10, out onto the pit straight. It looks as though the job is done. 3rd place, Senna Somerville under pressure from Max Rosa. Rosa to the inside. This is for the last of the podium positions. Remember that Somerville also is under investigation for speeding under a full course yellow. Up to turn 1 they come once again. Max Rosa closer than ever. Mark Di Fulgencio in 5th place. Meanwhile, Gabriel Piana has moved up into 6th place. 2nd place, Josef Knopp now dropping back, but look at the fight for 3rd. Max Rosam challenging Senna Somerville for the last of the podium positions. He has the inside line into turn 3. I can hear them booing booing from Jamaica as Max Rosam comes through to steal the podium position. I've got one eye on the screens. I see no penalties awarded at the moment, apart from the one to Lachlan Robinson for speeding under the full course yellow. But there may be more to come. There may be another challenge for the lead. But Jan Marszałkowski now back under pressure from Josef Knopp. And I should think that Marszałkowski will be willing on Max Rosam to try and create a bit of a hassle for the Porsche behind him to distract him from attacking for the lead. This is a replay of Josef Knopp, and Jan Marszałkowski eventually went the way of Jan Marszałkowski, but it is by no means signed and sealed at the moment. We've still got just a fraction over 2 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. What a phenomenal race this has been. What a phenomenal fight for third place. That is a replay of Max Rosam coming back past Senna Somerville. The timing screen still says Somerville in third, but I think they're about to update. Yes, they are, because Max Rosam is now into a podium position, and Somerville now under pressure from Mark Di Fulgentio. Jan Marszałkowski leading the way with a little over a minute and a half of timed racing remaining. He'll be quite pleased to see the checkered flag at the end of this race. 90 seconds remaining. Remember, they've had brake issues on that car, so Marszałkowski will be thinking hard. How much brake dare he use coming up the hill into turn 3? Looking to the inside, Josef Knopp challenging for the lead. He sees the gap. Will Marszałkowski be able to dump back and take it? No, he can't. But now a drag race towards turn 4. Max Rosam wanted to get involved as well. Rosam is not out of the equation. Just over 1 minute plus 1 lap. First and second running side by side. Jan Marszałkowski will have the inside line into turn 4. He retakes the lead. Now Max Rosam makes contact with Josef Knopp. Rosam through onto the inside. Now to fight for second place. This is what Jan Marszałkowski need. It'll allow him just to break clear, because now Josef Knopp is having to fight the BMW of Max Rosam for that second place. Rosam drifting it around the corner. Less than 40 seconds remaining of this race, plus the 1 lap. When the clock strikes 0, it will be the remainder of that plus 1 more. The incident between Josef Knopp and Max Rosam, well, there's no surprise. This is under investigation by the stewards. They may get involved. Jan Marszałkowski says, fight amongst yourselves, chaps. I'm out of here. That's exactly what he is, because Jan Marszałkowski now leads the field across the line. The clock has not quite struck 0, so it's going to be this lap plus 1 more. Marszałkowski would have liked it to be 1 less, I expect. Senna Somerville now under pressure. His 4th place under threat from Mark Di Fulgentio. Out along towards turn 2, you can see that Max Rosam has now made his route past Josef Knopp. So Rosam in that second place, a lock-up from Jan Marszałkowski. You can see that he's struggling a bit with those brakes. He's got about a lap and 3/4 remaining. Is Max Rosam going to ruin his dreams? He and Philip Gogolok, who have worked so hard. Philip Gogolok will be in the pits, looking from behind a chair somewhere. I should think he'll be so nervous, but at the moment Josef Knopp comes back at Max Rosam. So Josef Knopp back up into that second place. Senna Somerville coming back at Mark Di Fulgentio as well. So this plus 1 more lap, this remaining lap, and the message had been given for 46 and 31 to change positions. So the stewards got involved. They told Josef Knopp to go past Max Rosam. They told Max Rosam to let Josef Knopp pass. He did that, but now he's taken him back past into second place. But it might well be what Jan Marszałkowski needed, because while they were doing a bit of a waltz for second and third place, it's allowed Jan Marszałkowski to open up a gap out of turn 10. He has 1 more lap, just 4.318 kilometers remaining between now and a win in the ADAC GT4 Germany. It will be a first ever win in GT4 Germany for Philip Gogolok. Max Rosam in second place, having got back past Josef Knopp, having been instructed to give the place up. Then he had to do all the hard work. Now up towards turn 3. He's flashing the lights, but he's too far back to challenge into turn 3. But there's still plenty of time left. Remember that Marszałkowski is struggling with the brakes. Another lock-up. You saw the puff of blue smoke. Jan Moszkowski having to draw on all of his experience and all of his knowledge to get this Aston Martin home. It's the final lap of the race into turn 4 for the very last time for Jan Moszkowski and Philip Gogolok looking down at turn 4. Max Rosam maybe just a little bit too far back to challenge for the lead. Josef Knopp in that 3rd place. Senna Sommerveld, he was in a podium position for so long. He's in 5th place, still a solid result. But now all eyes on Jan Moszkowski. Will it hold together? Can he make it into turn 7? Just 3 more corners to go for Jan Moszkowski and Philip Gogolok for Zach Speed and Eastside Motorsports into turn 8 and now to turn 9 for the very last time. The downhill section, Max Rosam too far back to do anything about it. Will the car slow down? Yes, it will. Into turn 10 they come. It's gonna be a first win of the season for Jan Moszkowski, a first win ever for Philip Gogolok in ADAC GT4 Germany. Max Rosam, that's Jan Moszkowski's dad, Eric. He has been fighting for this moment all season long. Max Rosam and Leighton Fury in 2nd place. And Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf in 3rd place. The championship leaders, Gabriel Piano and Mikael Schrader in 6th. Ahead of them, Senna Sommerveld, Tommy Gore in 5th place. Mark Di Fulgenzio and Enzo Giulier in 4th place. Now the emotions start to pour. This team have been burning the midnight oil to get this car to work, to get the brakes to work and to get it to hold together. And boy, have they had to fight for this one. We saw it yesterday. Jan Moszkowski, he started on pole position and it all turned to tears. But for this race, Philip Gogolok, who started in P3, he fought his way forwards. This is going to feel like a championship win for them because they have fought so hard for it. It's a win for Jan Moszkowski, Philip Gogolok. Then in 2nd place, Max Rosam and Leighton Fury. And in 3rd, Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf. So I need to go and have a little lie down after that. We're looking back at the other results here. So Mark Di Fulgenzio, Enzo Giulier in 4th, ahead of Senna Sommerveld, Tommy Gore. Piana and Schrader, championship leaders in 6th, ahead of Marcus Eichler, Philipp Verskirchen, Tano Neumann, and Alain Gabet in 8th place. In 9th place is Adrian Ruchny and Daniel Drexel, Andrea Rockinson and Tommy Rackle in 10th. Drive from Joe Warhurst and Tom Edgar in 11th place, ahead of Simon Birch and Denny Burnt. Then the guesting drivers in car 62, Ugo Federico Bagnasco and Benjamin Silvesterson in 13th place, Niels Tröger and Josef Ellerin. And then the last of the runners, Lachlan Robinson and Matthias Salonen. We had an awful lot of retirements. We've had a fair bit of damage as well. Right, with the excitement of the race done and dusted. So it was a 6th place for Piana and Schrader, and it was a 3rd place for Knopp and Zulauf. By my calculations, that means it will be a 20-point gap between them as they head into the last round of the Hockenheim Ring. Just 2 cars in the championship now, with Ivan Eccleschick and Ferdinand Winter not finishing that race. So just 2 cars in it, but 20 points between them, with 50 still to earn. In the junior rankings, Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp will have extended their lead over Enzo Giulier. In the trophy ranking, Tano Neumann, I'm going to rehearse that one over the winter, has closed in on Max Kronberg. Right, well, there you go. It's nice to see that my dodgy maths ties in with what everyone else is thinking. 20 points being the gap, so 50 on the table. So it is now between 2 teams. It is Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport versus Avia W&S Motorsport for the Drivers' Championship. And this is going to go down to the wire. It has been a bruising race for everybody, but the headline is a win, a first win of the season for Jan Moszkowski, a first win ever for Philip Gogolok. And Jan Marszałkowski keeps his record. I think I'm right in saying that he has won a race in pretty well every season he has taken part in. And that will feel like a real victory, particularly after what they've been through this year. And there is Philip Gogolok. I should think he'll probably need a fairly strong drink after that. There you go, the nerves must have been utterly shredded when he was watching that on the monitor, when he saw Knopp and Marszałkowski running side by side. I think there's going to be a fairly big hug between these two drivers, and yes, the release of emotions finally starts. Good job, by the way, from Max Rosam and Leighton Fury to come home in second place. There we go. That's how much it means. Philip Gogolok, you are a winner in ADAC GT4 Germany, and not a moment too soon. Jan Marszałkowski, well, he's experienced this before. He's like, come on, come back up here. We got the photos. This is what's going to be the headline. This is Jan Marszałkowski's fourth win in ADAC GT4 Germany. His first ever was back at the Sachsenring in 2020. He's also had a couple at Zandvoort. That was in 2021. From his dad, who works so unbelievably hard to get this team together, to raise sponsorship, to pull together the work with Zach Speed and Eastside Motorsport. A great group of people, and they have had to work so hard to get the Aston Martin to work, but the work now starting to pay off. And although it's not going to be a championship this year, a win is pretty good as well. There's Max Rosam, also with Leighton Fury. Still, the Fury-Rosam combination looking for their first win. They've had a couple of second places, but still looking for the top step of the podium. And Jan Marszałkowski, he looks knackered. Yeah, brilliant stuff. We knew when those two got together as a team, it was going to be potent, because they're both great drivers. Two great drivers in third place, Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf. So they close in on championship leaders Mika Stre and Gabriel Piano, who finish in sixth place. Second place, I would say it's for ADAC WNS Motorsport. Second place for FK Performance, which I'm sure will pop up on the screen in just a few moments. We look at these wonderful slow-mos. There we go. Max Rosam and Leighton Fury. We saw Leighton winning in the BMW M2 Cup last year. And he's joined Max Rosam, who was also BMW M2 Cup. He'd already been in GT4 a few years ago. Has come back to it. And they are a very, very potent driver combination as well. Nice slow-mo of them going to the inside of Senna Summerbell. But the headlines today, it's a win for the Aston Martin Vantage GT4, prepared by Eastside Motorsport in association with Zach Speed. Jan Marszałkowski and Philip Gogolok taking the top step of the podium. And how hard did they have to fight for that? A race that had a little bit of everything. It really did. An awful lot of drama. I think there are going to be sections of that race that will be replayed for a long time to come. But the only video that Jan Marszałkowski and Philip Gogolok will want to replay will be that one, heading in towards the evening sun here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, taking the win, and they had to fight so hard for it. And they're in the garage. Great to see the teams celebrating. It's the shot in the arm they really needed after such a challenging season. Up until this race, their best result this season had been a fifth place as at the Nürburgring last time out. As Philip Gogolok on the left and Jan Marszałkowski avec helmet celebrating already, and we look forward to hopefully seeing them on the podium in just a few moments. But we know the Aston Martin car is quick, but certainly there have been a few issues that they've had to get on top of. And they have torn it apart, put it back together again, torn it apart, put it back together again. Rinse and repeat, done that. Finally, they've got something that works well. It'll be great to see how they get on when we regather at the Hockenheim Ring in a few weeks' time for the season finale. The Golden Bulls, I said, they are the trophies that are to be awarded. And Jan had already said the Golden Bull is missing from his trophy cabinet, and he really wanted one. If he hadn't won this race, he'd have had to have nicked one from somebody else. Well, there's Leighton Fury, closest to the camera on the right-hand side. Max Rosam, the taller of the two. So,
did you see the crash with the Porsche? No.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
It happened? Yeah, it happened.
He flipped.
Yeah, he braked, he like went over the car like this and he did that.
Well, he must have seen that on a replay. Oh, no, he was in the pit. Was he in the pits watching that? Yeah, he must have been. So, yes, that dramatic crash, they're just reflecting on that as we look again at some slow-mos of the winning car. And, yeah, the first of what they hope will be many wins for that team, that car, that driver combination. So, our podium announcer, Toby Shimon, the dulcet tones. He's been working hard this weekend. For the last race of this weekend, Finn Zulauf and Josef Knott. Well, it's a good podium, it's a good finish, but you can see from the looks on their faces, no, it was third, mate, not second, but you can see they're not especially delighted about that. Leighton Fury and Max Rosam into second. I bet you're going to see some big smiles now as the race winners come out onto the podium. Jan Marszałkowski and Philip Gogelok are race winners together in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Eastside Motorsport will send a representative as well. He looks fairly emotionally drained. I think we all are after that. So now we get ready for the national anthem. So we'll wait for the trophies to be presented. Matteo Braga, Circuit Activities Manager of Pirelli, who presents the winners' trophies. Wonderful trophies that they are. Erich Wolf, General Manager of the Red Bull Ring. They do a wonderful job hosting us here. This wonderful facility, beautifully prepared. And Søren Zinner, Director Global Sponsoring and Merchandise, presents the third place trophies. Great setting here in the Styrian Mountains. A spectacular backdrop, always spectacular racing. And that's a trophy they've had to work hard for. Well, that's Jan Marszałkowski's dad you just saw there, who has invested so much in this, not just, well, in emotions, probably finances, probably everything, but will be delighted with this, has big dreams. So the photos are taken. And now the celebrations start. It concludes race 10 of the season, the most dramatic of races. It's had a bit of everything. There are scenes from this race that we replayed for years to come, but the only one that Jan Marszałkowski and Philip Gogolok will want to replay was receiving the checkered flag, because it's their first win of the season and a first ever win for Philip Gogolok as he empties the bottle of champagne down the back of Jan Marszałkowski. A first win in ADAC GT4 Germany. 10 races down, now 2 races remaining. It'll be race 11 and race 12 of the season at the Hockenheim Ring from the 18th to the 20th of October. I do hope you're going to join us then for that. We look forward to seeing you for round 6 of this iconic championship. Michael Stray and Gabriel Piana lead the way, but Finn Zulav and Josip Knopp are just 20 points behind. We'll see you for the decider in the Hockenheim Ring. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.